What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of The Final Whistle, episode 36. We are through the first round in the NFL playoffs. We recapped that on Tuesday. It's now Friday, so we're going to cover the next games coming up in the playoffs. This is the divisional round, I
Yes.
believe. So this is the divisional round of the playoffs. Last week was wild card weekend. Not super wild card weekend anymore, just regular wild card weekend.
Sadly.
They changed it.
Tough.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of games, not even a bunch of games. We got 4 games, okay? And then we're getting close to the Super Bowl, man. And
We are.
Football's almost over. We got the national championships this Monday. Notre Dame versus Ohio State.
We got an elite football weekend.
Yeah.
Again.
It's solid.
Sucks that game, I think, is on a Monday, too. So I guess it's not sharing the days or whatever. But let me ask you this question. So I'm looking at ESPN score right now. I don't know if you're cheating. I don't know if you're looking at that as well. It says the tickets are as low as blank. Out of the Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and Bills, which game do you think is the most expensive to attend?
Probably the Bills.
Incorrect.
Really?
The Detroit Lions.
Wow, yeah.
$362 is the low. The cheapest one is the Chiefs, $93.
Really? That's true. Well, I guess they just kind of figure that they're going to win, so they don't really go to this game.
Yeah, so Eagles, Rams, 171. Bills, Ravens is the second cheapest, 152. I don't know if that has to do with the temperatures or whatever. It's supposed to be 18 degrees on Sunday there. Kansas City is supposed to be 25. Philly's supposed to be 31. Of course, the Lions are inside, so don't have to worry about weather for that one. But is there a certain game we want to talk about, or is any other news that caught your eye this week before we get into this stuff?
Not really, I don't think.
I feel like stuff's happened, but we haven't, I know Mike Vrabel's the coach of the Patriots. I don't know if you saw that. I think that's a very interesting hire.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's a great hire for the Patriots. I was kind of shocked they fired, I think it's Gerard Mayo was his name. Didn't really know much about him, but I'm surprised they fired him. Other than that, I mean, it's an interesting hire for the Patriots. They clearly want to be relevant, and I think they will be relevant next year. I think they can take another jump just because that division kind of sucks. I think the Jets are moving on from Rodgers and Devontae Adams, possibly Garrett Wilson. I think the Jets should just tear it down, blow it up. The Dolphins, we don't know what they're doing right now. They don't know what Tyreek Hill's situation is. And then the Bills are going to run that division for a while now. So the Patriots could honestly try to make a jump for a wild card spot. I think they're going to be busy this offseason, but they started off getting a very solid coach. I don't know how he didn't have a job this whole year. Honestly, I don't think he was that bad in Tennessee.
No.
I would have hired him in a heartbeat to be like your team's OC or DC, personally. He should honestly have a head coaching job. So I'm happy for Mike Vrabel getting that job with the Patriots. Other than that, other teams are interviewing guys. I know Arthur Smith of the Steelers has been interviewed by the Bears, the Jets. I think the Jets are the big rumored to get him, but I don't think he's going to land any head coaching jobs personally. But yeah, if you had to make a pick really quick, do you think Arthur Smith's on the Steelers next year, or do you think he's coaching the team?
I could see him staying.
Yeah,
I don't really mind him staying either.
That's where I kind of am right now with Arthur Smith. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Here we go. And then other top headlines in the NFL. Ravens, Zay Flowers is doubtful this week against the Bills. And it's funny they didn't even need him against the Steelers. But that could be a big loss against Buffalo. Titans are hiring a GM. They hired a guy from the Kansas City Chiefs to be their next GM, it looks like. I'm just looking at these really quick. Titans assistant will be getting an early look at quarterback Shedeur Sanders. I find that an interesting one. Look at this. Dolphins are hosting the first ever NFL game in Madrid, playing in Spain. Adding another one. Supposedly the Steelers are playing in Ireland next year. I don't know if you saw that. I think you told me about that. You see the Steelers got a KFC in Mexico?
I did see we got a KFC. So did the Niners and the Chiefs got to KFCs.
I have a theory. What if 3 of those teams and another one, if there were 4 of them, I could easily see those 4 teams playing a game in Mexico next year.
I think we're playing a game where? Do we have a London game? I know we have
I think you were saying it's Ireland. They're supposed to be Dublin.
Oh, yeah, we do have the Ireland game.
But there's a lot of Steelers fans down in Mexico.
Yeah.
They love the Pittsburgh Steelers down there. Kansas City Chiefs, I guess, as well. But I feel like the Steelers and the Niners are more so where that country is as fan base wise. But you know what? besides all the news, let's get into the games because a lot of interesting ones. Will upsets happen? We'll give our predictions today. We saved them from last week. We saved it all for today. So do we just want to start with, let's just do Saturday's games first. Let's start with the Texans and Chiefs, I guess. So what are your thoughts on this? I'll start with you.
I mean, dude, it's Mahomes in the playoffs. Like the Texans are banged up. They didn't play great against the Chargers. They just got a bunch of interceptions. But their defense has to play perfect. I think that this is just such a cakewalk for Mahomes. This is going to be like just a runaway game.
I kind of thinking the same thing. And they have, I know you're a gambling guy. You like that stuff. KC -8, total 41.5. I don't think it's going to touch 41.5. I think it's going to be under that. I think it might be messy. I think the Chiefs will still play a little bit sloppy football. Personally, they'll keep it close because we've seen that all year this year. Now, I'll just give my prediction now. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow let the Texans keep it very close. I would not be shocked at all because this Chiefs team almost lost to the Broncos. They've almost lost to the Raiders, I think, this year. They almost lost to the Panthers. This is a Chiefs team that does have flaws. I don't think this is the best version of the Kansas City Chiefs we have seen for years now. It's been better in the past. I think this is the weakest the Kansas City Chiefs have looked, but it's funny because they're still 15-2 and a perfect 8-0 at home. So they are the heavy favorites, well deserved. I think if the I almost said the Panthers. I think if the Texans have the one chance they have, ESPN's giving them a 37.3% chance to win this game at Arrowhead. Very tough environment. The way that they can win this is get the running game going with Joe Mixon. I know he had a good game against the Chargers. Can the Texans pull off some of the same magic against Justin Herbert, like they did to Justin Herbert against Patrick Mahomes? I don't think so personally. I would be shocked if they do. Other than that, other guys on the IR for the Chiefs, probably the biggest one is Mecole Hardman. That's about it. But yeah, Joe Mixon's questionable. He's probably going to be playing, I'd think. But yeah, it's going to come down to how they use Joe Mixon and if CJ Stroud plays great football because he can be hit or miss this year. We've seen.
Yep, for sure. I just don't think you can pick against Mahomes, Nate.
You can't.
He's a dog.
He's good. It just wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs make it a close game. Like they keep it close, and I just don't think we've seen that from the Kansas City Chiefs much this season. They've played a lot of close football games against teams that they should have beat. I'm looking at their scores this season. They won by a toe, basically a centimeter, week 1 against the Ravens. Came down to a PI call against the Bengals. They won by 1 score against the Falcons and Chargers back-to-back weeks. Their first real commanding win was the Saints 26-13. Then they beat the 49ers by 10. That was a good win. Raiders, they only won by 1 score. Bucks by 1 score. Broncos by 1 score. They lost to the Bills. And then they beat the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, all by 1 score. They were all 19-17. 19-17. Panthers was 30-27. They beat the Browns by 2 scores, the Steelers by 2 scores, and the Texans, they played them last time. They won 27-19. Their best, and then they lost 38-0. So they've played a lot of close football. And if we get the Chiefs that we saw against the Panthers, Raiders, or even that Chargers team, even though they're a good football team, or even the Broncos, where they only won 16-14, they might be in trouble. Now, will they be in trouble? I don't think so, but they need to clean stuff up. And I really hope that they use the bye week to make sure that they are going to win this in a commanding fashion. Because on the other side of the AFC, and we'll get to them in a bit, I think the team that they might be facing in the AFC Championship is going to be their first major challenge this season. That's my thoughts on that.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. I get it. I don't know who's beating the Chiefs this year in the AFC. I mean, I think it's the Ravens, the Bills, maybe, but dude, it's just.
Can they do it in the playoffs? Bills did it in the regular season. Can they do it in the playoffs? They haven't been able to. Same with the Ravens.
I don't. I think the Ravens are the only shot. I don't think the Bills.
I think the Ravens are.
Yeah, and just because, just how they beat the Steelers last week, Nate, it was dominance, and the Bills did dominate the Patriots, or not the Patriots, the Broncos, but I just don't think you can beat the Chiefs twice in a year. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's a rivalry now, so it's like it's a little bit deeper. So I don't know.
And the thing is, the Ravens already lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing. They would play hypothetically, I would think, with more urgency to try to beat them this time around. And Lamar lost to Mahomes last year in the AFC Championship. If we're thinking about that.
Yep.
But do we want to move on to the nightcap 8 p.m. on Fox?
Sure.
Commanders Lions.
Great
I think
game.
This is going to be a sneaky good game. I think this might
be the best game of. I know it's Bills Ravens. This is a good game though. Do you think that there's a chance that
yes,
Jane Daniels pulls this off? I don't.
I think there might be a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just because what scares me? The Lions defense.
Yeah. Well, they're all banged up. I mean, the Lions are so hurt.
That's what scares me right now about the Detroit Lions. I mean, injuries might come back to bite them soon. They're going to need a lot of healthy guys for that Eagles team, presuming it's the Eagles next week. But I'll just go back. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, hey, I just don't see a reality where Jaden Daniels as a rookie beats on the Lions. I mean, David Montgomery's coming back this week. No one knows how healthy he is. He says he feels great. Does he really feel great? I don't know. The Lions offense is just the best in the league right now, easily. And the Commanders don't have a good defense. They just don't.
I'm trying to see if they played.
Simple.
They did not play each other this year. I was seeing that they did. Man, the Commanders have been such a good story this year.
It's got to end. It's got to end somewhere.
Now, it wouldn't shock me if this game is also close because I could easily see the Lions going into this first playoff game as the number 1 seed off of a bye and looking a little rocky at the start. Because you know how the Lions can lose games? It's over coaching. We've seen that in the past from Dan Campbell a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a coach that will go for it on like 4th and 5 on their own 20-yard line. That's the type of coach he is. I respect the guts, but that could come back to bite them at the end. And you cannot make a mistake against Jaden Daniels in this. I could say it can be a really, really flashy Commanders team, especially looking back at what he did against Caleb Williams, that Hail Mary. How about that, for example? Now, this is funny. This is the most expensive game to go to, but this is also the highest total points they have as their spread. minus 9.5 for Detroit. Total 55.5 points. It's either they think the Lions are going to put up a lot of points or they just think this is going to be a high-scoring game in general. And personally, I'm leaning as this could just be a high-scoring game in general because we've seen the Lions put up a lot of points. However, the Commanders have proved that they can stick with teams. They can stick with them. I'm thinking about the game, the Steelers-Commanders game. That was a great football game. One of my favorite games this year. Steelers won it 28-27. Overall, great football game. And I think the Commanders are going to have that type of game against this Detroit Lions team because it's all about how can scary Terry McLaurin take advantage of a banged-up Lions team. How can Jaden Daniels run through a banged-up Lions team? But it also comes down to how this young Commanders team can stop that offense that they have. How can they stop an Amon-Ra? How can they stop a Sam Laporta, a David Montgomery if he plays, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff, who's had a great year this year? It all comes down to that. And when I'm comparing these teams rushing-wise, Jaden Daniels is probably the biggest threat because I wouldn't trust personally. I would not take Austin Eckler or Brian Robinson over a Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery. Lions have the edge. When it comes to receiving, it's Terry McLaurin and probably Amon-Ra. I'm taking Amon-Ra, even though I really like what Scary Terry's been doing. Tight end-wise, Zach Ertz compared to Sam Laporta, I'm taking Laporta. So you would think the Lions have the edge in everything. I just have this gut feeling it's going to be a close football game. Now, I think the Lions are going to win, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders – I wouldn't be shocked if this is the game we see the upset. Like, I would not be shocked, but I'm picking Detroit in confidence, even though I said I won't be shocked if they lose, but I'm picking Detroit here. I think the winners on Saturday will be the Chiefs and the Lions.
I agree. I think these are just no shock. No, these games just can't come to a shock to anyone. I think we could see some good gameplay, but at the end of the day, Nate, these are the two best teams in the NFL, in my opinion, the Chiefs and the Lions. And who knows how the Lions are going to do in the playoffs? I know that they lost to the Niners last year, but that was a really good Niners team, a really good Niners team. They almost won. Is it their year? I do think it is. I would like to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl, but I think if it was Bills Chiefs, I think I'd end up rooting for Mahomes.
I think we both picked Bills Lions.
We did
for a Super Bowl.
Yep.
But it's kind of sounds like you're leaning towards Ravens this week.
It is. I mean, I'm changing my prediction on that.
Do we just want to go to that game? Skip the Eagles Rams for now.
Let's do it.
You started off this time since kind of on the topic.
I mean, these are the two
RNA.
MVP candidates. You have Lamar Jackson. You have Josh Allen. These are it's 1 and 2 right now in the NFL, quarterback wise, and Lamar is now the MVP favorite. I don't know how. I don't know what happened in that last week for him to skyrocket to the MVP favorite. I think Josh Allen deserves it. That had a better team this year, better record, just not better stats because Lamar played an extra game. Doesn't matter. That's a regular season award. This is the postseason. Everything's wiped. Everyone's record 0-0. Everyone's stats are nullified. But man, I just the way that the Ravens beat the Steelers it felt different, Nate. It felt different. Yeah. Usually when you look at an AFC North game, it's close no matter what the record. You know what I mean? But for the Ravens to beat the Steelers like they did, that's a team that they can never beat. They just can't figure out a way to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they did it, and they kept their foot on our throats the entire game. I think the Bills' best recipe for success is getting up in a game early and then coasting through James Cook. I think that's what they've kind of done all year. They do win in shootouts, but a shootout against Derrick Henry, I mean, these are two very, very good running offenses in the NFL. Two of the best. Mm-hmm. Whoever gets up first, if someone takes a 14-point lead this game, Nate, I think that could be it. Because you're just going to run the hell out of your running back, and no one can stop him. Like, no one's going to stop Derrick Henry. People haven't been able to stop James Cook. I think the Ravens are just a little bit more explosive than the Bills. I'm gonna lean Baltimore here. I don't want to.
Yeah. I'm looking back at I'm looking back at week 4, 35-10. The Ravens destroyed the Buffalo Bills in Baltimore. This game is in Buffalo. Both those towns, cities are used to the cold weather. It's going to be freezing in Buffalo. And I guess, so you're going Ravens?
I'm going to go Ravens.
Interestingly enough, I don't know if you saw the spread for this game. -1.5 Baltimore, total 51.5 points. Now, when you hit Gamecast on ESPN, they'll show the matchup predictor. This is by far the closest one I can remember. All the other games are heavy favorites. They have the Eagles as a heavy favorite, the Lions, the Chiefs, all as heavy favorites. They are giving the Bills a 50.3% chance to win this. Ravens 49.7%. They are saying this is going to be the closest game according to the ESPN analytics. Now, when I'm looking at this game, I want to kind of look roster comparisons. Okay, I'm going to ask you these questions, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit. Quarterback. Hypothetically, you're taking Lamar over Josh Allen this season. Who would you rather have in this game?
Josh Allen.
I agree with that one. I'd rather have Josh Allen because I feel like this version of Josh Allen, even though they both aren't really doing it as much, aren't really turning the ball over. And Josh Allen's usually been a guy to turn the ball over. Now, when I'm looking at the running back core, I'm clearly taking Baltimore. I am taking Derrick Henry mixed with a Lamar Jackson to run basically all through this Bills team. Even though how good their run defense can be, the Ravens find ways to stop it. Now, when I'm looking at the wide receiver core, this is where I'm kind of intrigued of where this matchup could come down to. And the question is Zay Flowers actually playing? And he is doubtful this week. Now, when I'm looking at the Ravens depth chart, here's their wide receiver group right now. And interestingly enough, their wide receiver 3, Deontay Johnson, went back to them this week. He was waived earlier this year, went to Houston for a playoff game, got released by them, and he's back on the Ravens. So right now, their wide receiver room is as followed. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, and then they got Tylan Wallace, Steven Sims, Devontae Walker, and then Deontay Johnson's way back in the third string. Now, when I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills, this is another receiving core that I have questions about because we talked about this in the Josh Allen MVP debate. He has less, and that is a thing that fans are saying he deserves the MVP. This is what his wide receiver room looks like for this week. Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel, who had a pretty good game against the Broncos. I'm taking the Bills wide receiver group over the Ravens this weekend. Personally. Which one would you rather have? Because it's close.
They're both bad.
It's close.
I'll take the Bills wide receivers.
So we both have the Bills we're both taking the Bills QB situation and the wide receiver group over the Ravens, even though the Ravens have an MVP caliber quarterback. Here's an interesting, not mistaken. They said Deontay won't actually be able to play for the Ravens. It's for a comp pick, which is funny. Yeah. This whole Deontay Johnson saga has basically been a shit show, to say it personally. It has been hilarious. We're Steelers fans here, and it's kind of like my buddy's a Ravens fan. I don't know if I told you this story. When they acquired Deontay Johnson from the Panthers, I said, be prepared. You're going to witness a lot of fun times. And he said, yeah, it's probably going to be bad. And then they got rid of him. Now he's back. He's back for the playoff game. It's going to be interesting. Now, looking at the tight end group, I'm clearly taking Mark Andrews over, I think Dawson Knox is it's either Kincaid or Knox. Mm-hmm. I'm taking Mark Andrews in that one. I think we can agree on that one. Now, when I'm looking at the defenses, it's kind of the same story. I think they both have flaws. I'm kind of worried about that Ravens secondary. You know why? We saw them struggle at times against the Steelers. The Steelers took advantage of them for those 2 moon balls we saw in Steelers-Ravens last week. However, I think the Bills can allow that type of same play too. And then you know what plays I'm talking about. They just missed those tackles on Pickens. They let Van Jefferson get past them. And this was a thing when the Steelers played the Ravens a couple weeks ago when it was for the possibility of winning the AFC Championship. That is what Steelers fans were wanting the Pittsburgh Steelers to attack. They wanted them to attack the secondary. They didn't do that. They weren't doing that for the primary start of the wild card game last week, and then they did it at halftime. Sadly, the defense just was crap, and they just couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop Lamar, and that just proves Lamar is a really good quarterback. He's getting through this amazing defense. Now, when I'm looking at both these defenses, it's kind of like they both have some flaws. Now, however, the Bills are an 8-0 at home team. I did not know if you knew that. They are just like the Chiefs, perfectly undefeated at home. You're taking the Ravens. I'm taking Buffalo this time around. I think this is...
I want Buffalo. You know I want Buffalo.
Yeah. I think this is destined to be Lamar versus Josh Allen round whatever round it is. I think this is the quarterback rivalry. However, this is a game, honestly, I can flip a coin. I think this is by far the closest game. I think this is going to be game of the week. Game of the weekend, practically. I think this is going to be better than the college football national championship. This is going to be the football game. You think neither of these teams can beat the Chiefs, correct? Do you think?
I don't. I think the Bills are the only team that can beat the Chiefs.
Want to hear my hot take?
Talk to me.
I think whoever wins this game is making the Super Bowl. I think whoever wins this game is making the Super Bowl.
I don't think the Ravens can bounce the Chiefs at all.
See, when you say that, I agree. But I look back at week 1 when it came down to Isaiah Likely not getting his toe down.
Yeah.
It was basically by an inch. And this Chiefs team, like I said earlier, this is the most flawed Chiefs team
ever
we've seen out of this Chiefs dynasty. Mm-hmm. They've played a lot of close football games that should be destructions of other teams.
Let me ask you this, though. How many times did we say that about the New England Patriots
during
the dynasty?
Said that a lot.
And what happened?
They always won.
Finally.
Think about 28-3.
Super Bowl. Every year.
You can think about whenever I saw a video of the Malcolm Butler interception at the 1-yard line. They find ways. The Patriots have the same. The Patriots dynasty has the same magic. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty they are building now has adopted the Patriots magic that they had. These magical plays, 28-3 comeback, the Malcolm Butler interception. They find ways to win games. Now, however, like this Chiefs team, I'm just looking at them, and they lost to the Bills. They beat the Ravens by 1 score. I just think whoever wins this game, I think if the Bills win, they're going to try to avenge their playoff losses and be like, hey, we beat them in the regular season. Cool. But let's actually prove ourselves and win in the playoffs, because that's the one hump they cannot get over. They always fall up short. Every time they match up against the Chiefs, they lose in the playoffs. The Ravens, if they play the Chiefs next week, we're presuming the Chiefs win. Hypothetically, they don't get upset. If it's Chiefs Ravens, the Ravens are playing for 2 things. They are playing to avenge last year's AFC Championship loss in Baltimore, and they are also playing for that 1 inch that Isaiah Likely didn't get his foot down. Because honestly, that 1 inch could have came down to the Bills or Ravens fighting for that 1 seed. That would have made it interesting. That would have given the Chiefs 3 losses. Who knows if the Bengals beat them? There's a lot of questions. I just think whoever wins this game on Sunday evening, 6:30. It's not even a night game, so we can stay up all night and watch that one. It's not going to end at like 1 a.m. I think whoever wins this game is going to make the Super Bowl. Will they win the Super Bowl? I don't know. Depends on who they play, because I think the Lions and Eagles are the favorites to win the NFC. But yeah, this is by far game of the weekend. Before I give mine, do you have a final score for this one? Because I think this would be a fun one to predict.
31-28.
Baltimore?
Baltimore.
It's come down to a field goal or something?
Coming down to a field goal.
Final minutes? Or is it a quiet fourth?
I think Ravens I think Justin Tucker hits a game-winning field goal.
You got 30. That'd be an interesting story for Justin Tucker, who's not been that good this year.
Sucked, yeah. But
31.
It'll be like I think what's gonna happen. Ready? I'm telling you, this is exactly what's gonna happen. Ravens are gonna need to pick up like a first down to win it, kind of. And Derrick Henry's just gonna like they're gonna like need to get like 3 yards to get in the field goal range. Like they're barely out of field goal range, and then Derrick Henry's just gonna take it up the middle to like the 10-yard line. Just give Justin Tucker a chip shot.
Yep.
A chip shot.
Man, this Ravens team is so good. Both these teams are decent. This Ravens team is awesome, but like I'm still taking Buffalo. I just think they'll make it work at home. They're looking back at that 35-10 loss in Baltimore. They cannot look like that again. And they added Amari Cooper since then. They added to the receiving group a little bit.
He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, that's the problem. He hasn't really done much, but they at least added it a bit. He's been kind of quiet, which has kind of been upsetting for that addition. We were so hyped when that happened. It gave us something to talk about like early this season, way back probably like would have been episode 10-ish.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to pick a final score. You got 31-28. I think we're hitting 40 points this game. I'm going to take 40-38. Really high scoring game. This goes down as one of the best playoff games of all time. I'm setting myself up to be very disappointed, but it's probably going to be like 21-16. But I'm taking 40-38. Make it fun. But yeah, final game to talk about Sunday, 3:00. And I also really like this game. Rams, Eagles. Let's start with you.
Listen, I think the Rams struck luck last week. I think that they played really good defensively. They also were lucky that Sam Darnold played really, really bad. I mean, they didn't use Cooper Kupp enough. Puka Nacua didn't have a crazy monster. No one had a crazy good game on that Rams standpoint, except for that defense of theirs. Now, I just don't see a reality in where anyone stops this Philadelphia team in the NFC. I don't. I think Saquon's too good. I think Hurts is pretty good. I think that wide receiver core, when it wants to be, is really good. Defense can be a little sometimes. It can also be really good sometimes. So I'm picking Philly, but I think this is going to be like not close. I think this is going to be just Eagles are in front the whole time. Kind of like it was with the Packers, where Eagles are in front the whole time. It's close on paper, but is it close? Yeah. No. Like, I don't know. But I think if Stafford can find a way to use Kupp and Nacua, who knows at that point? Who knows?
It wouldn't
on paper, it should be close, but the Rams just haven't used their weapons how I think they should be using their weapons. And I think if they did that the right way, I think that it'd be hard to beat this team. Hard.
I think when I'm looking at this game, I'm kind of with you. I think the Eagles, what scares me about them, we saw against, did you watch the full Eagles-Packers game on TV?
Yeah.
The first play of the game when the Packers fumbled the ball on the kickoff, you knew the Eagles were going to run away with that game.
Yeah.
This game, I'm kind of, you know how much I like the Rams, how they're playing right now.
I do.
I'm not picking the Rams, but I will gladly say how much I could easily see this being a trap game for Philadelphia. Just because I know we both can agree the box score made it feel much closer than what it was. There were moments against the Green Bay Packers that the Philadelphia Eagles did not look like the Eagles. The offense was stalling. If this offense stalls for a long period of time, hypothetically, if they go quiet again, kind of in the second quarter for a few drives, this Rams offense, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, you could throw in there, Cooper Kupp, Nacua, all those guys, Matthew Stafford, can put up some points. Clearly, they can put up points on this Eagles defense. I know Cooper DeJean and is it Quinion Mitchell, the other corner that we were both really high on both those guys, and they landed both those rookie corners. I think Matthew Stafford can be the quarterback to maybe test those rookie corners a little bit. Sure. Now, do I think they're going to win? Probably not. ESPN's given the Rams a 34.6% chance, the Phillies 65.4%. I think home field advantage is going to be the big key for the Eagles here. They're 8-1 at home, 14-3 overall. The Rams are a 5-3 road team. This LA Rams team played amazing football against the Vikings, who were very subpar the final 2 weeks, and those were great wins for the Rams to have. They've been really hot, in my opinion, down the stretch. If you haven't watched us before, I've been really high on this LA Rams team. I thought they were one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs. And when I'm looking at this game, I'm picking the Eagles, but I'm not going to be shocked with their upset, because I think the Eagles have had two very realistically upsetting type of opponents. They could have lost to the Packers if they messed up a lot more than they did. And I think the Rams are another trap game. I think if there's a certain team, I said this about the Lions, Commanders, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions play subpar this week, especially with the injuries. If the Eagles come out slow or have a long period of time where their offense stalls out, Jalen Hurts is missing stuff, the offense isn't playing up to par, if Saquon Barkley goes missing for at least one or two drives, it wouldn't shock me if Matthew Stafford takes advantage of that with Kupp and Nacua, Kyren Williams and all that, and can put up some points. I'm picking Philly, but this is the team that worries me the most this week, personally.
I disagree. I don't think this Rams team's going to put up any fight. I think that they got bailed out last week by a really bad quarterback. Sam Darnold played horrendous. I don't see a reality, Nate, where this is a competitive game.
I think it's going to be close.
I don't. I think,
but that's fair too.
I just don't see anything in the Rams that I'm like, wow, they could win a Super Bowl. No.
Oh, no. It would be a cool little story. Get hot at the right time type of thing. But I don't know. I just think out of all the four home teams, this is probably the least favorable matchup because you're playing a Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is an experienced quarterback. He can put up points. This Rams team put up a good amount of points against that Vikings defense last week. And speaking of the Vikings, how about that Sam Darnold fall from grace? I brought this up weeks ago about the visual of Sam Darnold kind of just running into that wall. They still finished 14-3, but they looked so bad the final 2 weeks. And I don't think it's all on Darnold, but he's going to get all the blame. And I think Sam Darnold played himself out of a crazy extension or crazy deal. I think he might just get a basic contract, maybe a 1-year deal. He kind of played himself out of a 2 to 3 year deal or something to lock himself up with a team for the next couple of years. He's probably going to get a 1-year contract. This game. Do we want to give score predictions for this game and the other games we didn't do? Because I know we did.
This is like another 17-10 game.
You think it's ugly?
I think it's ugly, but I think that Rams just aren't in it. Like I think it's 17-3 the whole game, and then
Yeah.
like the Rams score a touchdown like the fourth quarter, and it's like, you know,
I think with this game, I'm looking. Let's go 24-14 Eagles. It wouldn't shock me if the Rams get the first touchdown and then the Eagles just pedaled in the middle. But yeah, I'm going Eagles over that one. So to recap, we both picked the Chiefs. We both picked the Lions. We both picked the Eagles. You picked Baltimore. I picked Buffalo.
yeah.
And that would set up for me Buffalo, Kansas City. You would have Ravens, Kansas City. Maybe we get that next week. Whatever one we're talking about, one of us will be right. That's the only one. One of us is going to win the predictions this week with that one.
Yes.
Because if hypothetically, if we're all wrong on the other three, one of us is getting the last one right.
Yep.
Now, before we move on to any other topics today, is there a team on upset watch, you think? And which one is it?
I think the only team on upset watch is the Bills, but who's favored in that game?
Baltimore.
I think the Ravens are favored. So I think the
Yeah.
only team on upset watch is the Ravens. Like I think the rest of these games are not even going to be like that crazy competitive. There will be a competitive. I mean, think about it. Like the Steelers gave no fight against the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these teams are gonna give fight, are gonna show that they're in the game. But like I don't know. I don't think that there will come a time in these games where it's like, okay, it's coming down to the wire. I think the only game that I think could be relatively close and we could have like is hear me out, the Commanders Lions game. I think that there could be a point in that game where Jaden Daniels, goes down the field, his last 2 times scores touchdowns, and then it's okay. They just put up 14 straight unanswered points. Like, let's go. And then I think that's the only way that game's competitive. I think the Chiefs, Texans, I think Stroud's just not going to play good. I don't see anyone beating Mahomes. I don't. And I think I'm going to change my Super Bowl prediction to the Chiefs.
That's fair.
If I don't have the Bills, because I'm taking the Bills to lose, so then I'm going to take the Chiefs to win against the Ravens, and then Chiefs Lions Super Bowl. I'll take the Chiefs over the Lions in the Super Bowl. I'm going to. They've seen each other a few times now.
I'm going to keep my Bills Lions pick. I'm sticking with that.
I was going to pick the Bills until I saw what the Ravens did to the Steelers and how much they just dominated.
They did.
I don't know. I think in that game it's a pick'em of whoever scores first. If any of those teams are up 10 points, it's like almost wraps. You just run the ball down their throat for the rest of the game and chew clock and score.
What's funny about this?
Offenses.
What's funny about this Bills Ravens game? I know MVP is a regular season award. I could definitely tell you there are so many other teams or all these voters are going to look at this game and treat it like the MVP award is awarded after this game. And I think it is a regular season award, but I already know the talking heads in the media are going to be like, well, the Bills beat the Ravens. Josh Allen's your MVP. If Josh Allen can't win this game, it's going to be, Lamar beat Allen twice. Lamar is the MVP. Listen, if it's a regular season award, which I think it is, then Lamar should probably win it. I want Josh Allen to win it. He has the better stats.
But he also had a worse record, and Josh Allen sat the last game.
That's the thing. I want Josh Allen to win it, but I think they're going to vote for Lamar. I think they're going to vote for Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen.
I think Lamar's very good. I don't think he's the MVP of the league. I think Josh Allen's the most valuable player.
And you know what? I always bring up how other leagues, like the MLB, has the 2 MVP system. That wouldn't even help right now because all these MVP candidates are in the AFC.
Yeah. Who would be the NFC MVP?
Yeah.
Like Jared Goff?
Jared Goff or Sam Darnold are the
Saquon. Probably Saquon.
Saquon, yeah. The AFC. Okay, if you're making an hypothetical before we move on to other topics.
Such a quarterback award, though. Never.
I hate that. I hate it so much how the Opoy is like the running back wide receiver MVP. And the only players that can win MVPs in the NFL right now are like quarterbacks. I almost said position players.
Position player to win it was Adrian Peterson.
Like in baseball, the main person win MVP is usually a position player, not a pitcher. It's very rare for pitchers win MVP. But when I'm looking at this, like if you look at the AFC, if they had their own MVP, your choices would be Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry. Those are Jamar Chase. I'd throw him in there. That's 6. NFC wise, who are you throwing in there? Saquon's probably number 1. Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, I guess. Like, I can Jaden Daniels, maybe. I'd throw him in there. I know people have been like putting his name in MVP talks. I think it's deserved, but he'll be rookie of the year. It'd be so interesting if they actually did that. Like if there was a 2 MVP system, they would probably go Lamar and Saquon. But now for Opoi this year, we could do award predictions down the road. It's probably going to be Saquon. I would hope it's
Saquon. It's not because the odds are minus 10,000.
Yeah, like and Nicholas brings up Baker. Yeah, Baker Mayfield as well. He'd be an MVP candidate in the NFC.
Oh, right. He'd be a candidate. He'd be like the 5th candidate. I mean, I'd take Daniels over Baker.
That's fair. That's another good one. You know what I
Goff,
hate?
Darnold.
Yeah. I hate that Chris Godwin got hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's brutal.
He would have been an Opoi candidate this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was
breaking out
so long. He was disgusting.
He was breaking out, man.
He's one of those rare Penn State guys. I don't mind Chris Godwin.
I know we're both big Penn State haters.
I'm the biggest Penn State hater ever.
Hey,
I think,
all their Penn State players are going back. Not a lot of them are going to the draft.
Tyler Warren?
He's going to a lot of the main guys. I know Aller's going back. I think both running backs.
Aller should go back. Was he going to be in the CFL?
I will say I really like Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Warren's going to be a good tight end.
Tyler Warren's going to be good. Abdul Carter's going to be really good. He's actually good at the Browns right now. So both edges, the left edge is going to be Abdul Carter. The right edge is going to be Myles Garrett.
Ooh.
That's not going to be fun.
I'll give the Browns credit. That is pretty nasty. Tyler Warren, people think the greatest fit would be the Denver Broncos. I like that fit for him.
I don't hate that.
We can talk about draft later. Anything else in the NFL we want to talk about? Because I kind of want to talk about unravelings in the baseball world. We haven't talked baseball in a while.
Let's talk some ball, Nate.
I know Nicholas wants to hear us talk about some college basketball. So we'll cover that next. I wanted to talk about this whole Roki Sasaki situation. So do you know who that is by chance?
I'm aware of Roki Sasaki.
If anyone in the chat knows what I'm going to be talking about here, Japanese phenom pitcher, very young. He's coming to the MLB earlier than expected. He had to get posted early. So here's like how the posting system works is the team that gets rid of him would get more money if they waited, but they let him go. They said, you're free to move on. They got the least possible. Now with that, however, it's kind of the same thing with Shohei. Shohei was the same way. You get less money coming over and teams have to use this international signing money that they save. So the Pirates, for example, because we're Buccos guys, they signed all these 16-year-old kids from Dominican and elsewhere with that international money, like you usually do. Now, with Roki Sasaki coming, you have to use that money to sign him. So he's not going to get a $30 million deal. It would probably be like $8 to $10 million max for like a year or two. Now, he released on Monday this whole, these are my finalists type of thing. The Cubs were eliminated. Everyone's getting eliminated by hours. Started with the Giants, then the Cubs, the Rangers, who'd probably never had a chance. Other teams that were involved. I'm trying to Mets, Yankees, they both go down together. And I'm
what
like,
about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I wish they were in. I believe they're but it came down to the Padres and Dodgers, the two favorites. Everyone knows he's going to the Dodgers. But then I don't know where the Blue Jays are involved.
They're always involved.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The Toronto Blue Jays are involved in every single free agent. They haven't signed a single one besides the one reliever they got from the Phillies, Jeff Hoffman. 3 years, $33 million. But here's the funny thing. They got him because 2 other teams passed him up due to a physical concern. The Orioles and Braves were going to sign this guy to a $40 million deal, but he had a physical issue in his shoulder, which is important for a pitcher. Don't get me wrong. Probably that and his elbow is the most important part of a pitcher's arm. Now, it comes out today that the Blue Jays, the Padres were out this morning, supposedly, and I was shocked by that. So now it's just the Dodgers and Blue Jays. The Blue Jays today, in efforts to get more international money, okay? You can trade for international money. Other teams should have been all over this. I would have loved if the Pirates traded international money for a haul for the Dodgers or Blue Jays. Screw it. Get one of their outfielders they don't want because this team needs an outfielder. The Blue Jays did another trade with the Guardians today, and they already acquired so much contract money with the Guardians this year with like Jimenez earlier. They acquired an outfielder by the name of Miles Straw, who's not that good. And they also got international signing money for 2025. This guy, Miles Straw, is making like $5 million cheap, but like he's not going to be a good, decent player for the Blue Jays. And it just makes me think that the Blue Jays are a team that is frustrating the heck out of me because they're doing all this and it's going to look stupid. Because the only reason they made this move is to get the international signing money to get Roki Sasaki, not to get Miles Straw. The Guardians just said, hey, if you want our money, you're going to take this guy off our hands because we're not using him. I was reading the comments and like this, the Cleveland Guardians posted it, and all these people are saying like, yes, we got rid of him. Like, finally. Someone said this is an awful trade, and someone said, wow, you're high. Like, okay. Like I'm reading all these comments on the Blue Jays, and everyone's like, nobody has it worse than me. And the Blue Jays are commenting like, oh, okay. Yeah, every one of these fans think they're getting Roki Sasaki. And here's the funny thing too. This guy who's not that good, I'm looking at someone replied this. He's making $6,400,000 projected this year. It goes up to $7 million, then $8 million, then $8.5 million in 2028. He's locked up with this team until 2028. And if they don't get Roki Sasaki, that is just hilarious. That's all I had on that one. I just found it interesting how this is all. I hate how it's going. We all know he's going to the Dodgers. It's going to happen in the next couple days. Probably tonight, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? It's getting tiring. Never seen this. This was not the same way Ohtani was, I don't think. It was announced early. But moving on. That's all I had.
Yeah. I hope he goes to the Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays.
I hope he does too. Personally, I think it would be better for baseball, that is. Anything else you want to add today?
Should we take some callers? And if we don't get callers, wrap it up early?
Yep, that's fine with me. I know Nicholas brought up college basketball.
I'm not kidding. I haven't followed a lick of college basketball. I've watched Pitt and Cooper Flag. That's it.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Cooper Flag? I know he's pretty good.
Future Raptor.
Future Raptor. You want him really bad?
Yep.
Is he going to the draft this year? Is he a one? Wait. How long has he been in college? Like 1 year?
1 year. Yeah, he's 17.
He wants a one and done type of thing?
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Cooper Flag.
Yeah,
if you want to call in.
We'll give it a beat here.
Give us your thoughts. Playoffs weekend. Anything else in the sports world?
Predictions.
Might be a shorter episode today. Man, I hate that the Steelers are out. We're screwed. We're screwed for the next couple of weeks.
Last night, Nate, I did it. I was doing the mock drafts.
You want to do a mock draft just for fun?
Not right. I mean, maybe another. They take long. But I'll say this. Who do you want us to take?
Now, when I'm looking at this, when I did one of those mock drafts, I need to look up.
I'll just tell you, I wanted that Mbuka guy.
Well, did you do PFF?
No.
See, the PFF one's more accurate, and you actually had to pay for it. You only get 3 free rounds and 1 pick a day. There's a certain guy, a corner, that I'm really into. I really want the Steelers to get. And he's always supposed to be landing where it is. Where is he? I think it's Benjamin Morrison.
No.
The guy from Notre Dame. I think that's the corner. Let's see here. What do we want my opinion on?
Probably just college basketball.
You know, I don't really watch college basketball enough.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the draft, what I would want the Steelers to get, probably a corner round 1. It's either a corner or wide receiver. What's the best available? You want a wide receiver? I kind of want a corner. Nicholas wants the graphic.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Well, if anyone wants to call in, go ahead and call in.
Go ahead and call in, Nicholas.
Go on, Nicholas. Call in. Make your whistles. Final whistle debut. Oh, goodness. You know what? Tuesday, we'll recap. Let's do a mock draft.
Mock draft Tuesday? We don't know all the picks yet, though.
That's what makes it fun. I only get we only get one.
I think
day
it's
on
way too early for
PFF.
mock drafts. We got to
Bro.
save that for content for when it is off season. And we're
Bro, right
fully
after the
booked.
Steelers lost, it was just all the
Mock
comments
draft
are like,
season.
"It's mock draft season. This is who I
Yep.
want. This is who
Yep.
we're gonna bring." Oh, do you think? Do you think the Titans are gonna be stupid and pick Shedeur over 1 overall?
That would be ridiculous. He stinks.
I don't think he's the right pick for them. I don't
No,
think
not at all.
so. And it's funny, like the top. I'm on this NFLDraftBuzz.com. These are the rankings of their scouting reports right now: 1, 2, and 3. Can you guess the 3 top players in their opinion?
What?
Can you guess the top 3 players according to NFLDraftBuzz.com? That
Oh,
ranks
I
all
guess.
these guys. Yeah.
Cam Ward.
No quarterbacks.
No QBs. Luther Burden.
Nope. Cam Ward was 8th.
Okay.
Luther Burden is not even top 12.
Dude from Penn State, the edge rusher. Forget his name.
No, he's 7th on their
Wow.
website. He got a rating of
Shedeur?
89.
Oh, you said no quarterbacks.
Shedeur was a 90.5. He was 4th.
That's gross. Oh, Travis Hunter.
Yes, he's number 1. They give him a
Okay.
93.4. Okay, you need 2 and 3. I think number 2 is an easy one to
Genty?
guess. Genty's number 2. I don't think there's any way you're getting number 3 because it's an offensive tackle.
No shot.
Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas.
No shot.
Oh my gosh, 6'4", 320 pounds.
What a dog. Big boy.
Hey, Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey,
I want Mbuka or Luther
I
Burden.
want him too, man. I usually don't like Ohio State players, but screw it. We need wide receivers.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep, I
that it
think
for today.
yeah. No, we're not getting the callers, so
Come on, Nicholas.
No one wants to call. It's fine. Just under an hour this episode. I didn't even think we'd go this long with the amount of stuff we have to talk about, but we did it. Decent episode, did our jobs, but happy with it. Got 52 minutes out of it. So thanks for everyone tuned in. Feel free to comment, like the video, subscribe even. Tell your friends about us, tell your mom about us, tell your grandma about us, tell your aunt about us, your kids.
Subscribe to the channel
Anyone.
too.
But
Please
yeah,
subscribe.
anyone who is watching, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching as always.
See y'all later.